My boyfriend created a fake account to see if I'd bite. He texted, "Don't tell anyone I really like you. I've heard people say that love makes you do stupid things, but no one ever tells you that sometimes love makes you cruel, even when you think you're doing it for the right reasons." My name's Mia. I'm 21 and I study graphic design at a Columbia University here in New York. My boyfriend, Ethan, is a finance major. And honestly, I used to think we balanced each other perfectly. He's numbers. I'm colors, he plans. I improvise. He thinks in bullet points. I think in brushstrokes. We met sophomore year in an elective we both hated. Intro to Statistics. I remember him sitting 2 rows behind me, whispering to his friend that the class should come with free therapy. I laughed way too loud, turned around and said, "Only if the therapy includes coffee." After class, he walked with me to a little cafe near Washington Square Park. The kind that sells overpriced muffins and pretends burnt espresso is artisanal. We talked for hours. About school, music, childhood, what we'd do if we weren't terrified of failing. He was easy to talk to, easy to trust. That's how it started. Little moments that built into something solid, or at least I thought so. By the time we officially started dating a few months later, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. We spent weekends walking across the Bikes Brooklyn Bridge, eating street pretzels, talking about everything and nothing. He'd tease me for sketching random strangers. I'd tease him for always checking the stock market before dates. He wasn't my dream guy in the cliche sense. He wasn't mysterious or brooding or poetic. He was stable, thoughtful. The kind of person who remembered your coffee order and texted to make sure you got home safe. I used to think that was what real love was. Comfort. Consistency. Until comfort turned into something quieter. And quieter turned into distance. It started small. He'd cancel coffee dates because of group projects. He'd forget details about things I told him, like my presentation theme or my roommate's birthday. He was there, but not with me. When I'd ask if something was wrong, he'd just smile that tired smile and say, "I'm just stressed, Mia. It's finance." I can barely sleep, and that made sense. We were in our 6th semester. Everyone was drowning in deadlines, so I let it slide. But late at night, lying in my dorm, I'd catch myself scrolling through our old texts. The early ones when we were still flirting, still curious. When he'd send things like, "You're my favorite part of New York." Those messages had disappeared months ago. And in their place, silence had grown roots. Looking back now, I realize how fragile we'd already become. How easily doubt seeps in when love stops being spoken out loud. And that's exactly when it happened. The first message. The one that would change everything. It was a Tuesday night in February, the kind where New York feels like it's holding its breath. I was in my dorm, sketching ideas for a class project, when my phone buzzed, a new message on Instagram from someone named JStone99. His profile picture was a blurry shot of a guy on a subway, hoodie up, face half hidden, the kind of account you'd normally ignore. But the first line made me pause. "Hey, don't tell anyone I really like you. I saw your art in the Fine Arts building. You're seriously talented." I read it twice. My sketches had been pinned up that week for our visual storytelling critique. Students from other departments passed by all the time, so maybe it wasn't weird. I typed back a simple, "Thanks." He replied almost instantly, "I mean it." The piece with the girl in the red jacket, that one hit hard. I froze. That drawing wasn't part of the class set. It was tucked in the corner, half hidden, something I'd done for myself. Only Ethan had seen it before. I told myself it was a coincidence. The campus was small. Maybe someone noticed. He said he was a finance major, senior year from Boston. He'd transferred to Columbia last semester. Said he liked wandering the art halls when things got too loud in his head. There was something about the way he wrote, unpolished but thoughtful. No pickup lines. No emojis, just sentences that sounded like someone actually listened. We talked about random things, movies that aged badly, how New York bagels ruined every other bagel for life. What time of day felt the loneliest? He said late afternoons in February were the worst. When the sun sets before you're ready. I laughed and said, "That's when I draw the most." He replied, "Figures. You turn quiet hours into color." I remember smiling at that one. It didn't sound like something people our age said. Over the next few days, we kept talking, every break between classes, every late night when the city hummed outside my window. His messages were always calm, steady, warm. He asked about my favorite spot in New York. I said the steps of the Met Museum, at sunset. when everyone's tired and the city finally slows down for 5 minutes. He said he'd never noticed that before, but he wanted to. Then he asked, "Do you ever feel like people love what you do more than who you are?" And somehow that hit exactly where I lived. Because lately, with Ethan, that's how it felt. Like he loved the version of me that fit neatly into his life. The girl with good grades, a quiet laugh, someone safe. Not the messy, restless parts. Jay didn't know me like that. He didn't know my routines, my friends, my history, which made it easier to be honest. We talked about our families, the pressure to have a plan, the quiet fear that maybe our 20s wouldn't look like the movies promised. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was talking into a void. I'd text Ethan during the day, short things like, "Good luck on your quiz," or "Want to grab dinner?" He'd reply hours later with "busy" or "rain check." But Jay? He replied instantly. One night, I asked if he'd ever been in love. He said once. Said she didn't notice him the way he noticed her. That sometimes, being close to someone makes them see right. Through you, that line. It stayed with me, because part of me wondered if that's what was happening with Ethan and me, and maybe that's why I didn't block Jay. I told myself it was harmless, just two people talking about art, life, and timing. But somewhere between all those late-night conversations, something changed. He started asking more personal questions, what my laugh sounded like, whether I liked being the one people underestimated, what kind of person I wished would understand me without explanation. Should have seen the red flags, but the truth is, when someone starts saying the right things at the exact wrong time, it doesn't feel like danger, it feels like fate. That Friday, Ethan and I barely spoke. He'd forgotten our lunch plans and texted, "Sorry, project ran long." So when Jay messaged that night, "I know this is weird, but I feel like I already know you," I didn't push back. I just wrote, "Yeah, me too." It was stupid, I know. But in that moment, I wasn't thinking about consequences. I was thinking about how easy it felt to be seen. Looking back, I can't tell if I was falling for Jay or just falling for the idea that someone was still choosing me. That's when the story really began. Because love doesn't disappear overnight, but sometimes it gets replaced by something that looks close enough to trick you. It had been 2 weeks since that first message, and somehow, Jay had gone from a random DM to the first thing I checked every morning. We'd never met, but I felt like I knew him, or at least I wanted to. He knew how to listen, really listen, in a way that didn't feel like small talk. He'd remember tiny details, like the name of my favorite cafe near Union Square, or how I always drew with my headphones on but no music playing. He'd tease me for it. "You like pretending the world's quiet, huh?" And I'd text back, "Only when I can't make it shut up." Somewhere in all of it, I started to forget that he was a stranger. He just felt safe. One Thursday night, he sent a message that made my heart jump a little. "Okay, don't freak out. But would you ever want to meet in person?" I stared at it for a long time. We'd crossed that invisible line, the one between digital and real life. I typed back, "You're not secretly 45, right?" He replied instantly, "Nope, 22. You can even pick a public place so you feel safe." I hesitated. Every warning I'd ever heard about meeting strangers online echoed in my head. But the truth was, I didn't think of him as a stranger anymore. So I said yes. We picked Times Square. Saturday night, 7 p.m., somewhere crowded, bright, impossible to miss. I didn't tell Ethan. It wasn't about hiding something. It was about avoiding another fight that had no winner. The last few weeks had been rough. We'd drifted so far apart that even our silences felt different. When he asked why I seemed distant, I wanted to scream, "Because I'm lonely next to you." But instead I just said, "I'm fine, just tired." He nodded like he believed it. Or maybe he didn't care enough to ask again. By Saturday, the city felt heavier than usual. It had just snowed that morning, and slush clung to the sidewalks like stubborn ghosts. I took the subway downtown, checking my reflection in the window every few stops, fixing my hair, then telling myself I didn't care. Times Square was chaos. Neon lights, tourists, music blasting from every direction. I stood near a coffee stand in my denim jacket and red scarf, trying to spot anyone who might be looking for me. Minutes passed, then 10. Then 30, I texted, "Hey, I'm here. Are you close?" Nothing. At 7:45, my phone buzzed. "Sorry, couldn't make it." I let out a shaky breath. "Okay, fine. That happens." But then another message came. "You looked beautiful, though." My hand froze around my phone. Beautiful? How would he know that? A chill crawled up my neck. I scanned the crowd, faces everywhere, none familiar. I typed back, "You're here?" No reply. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it over the street noise. For the first time, I realized how stupid this was. Meeting someone I'd never met, someone who apparently saw me when I couldn't see them. I left. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every message, every line, every small coincidence I'd brushed off. He was a chief finance major from TD Boston. Like Ethan, he'd said he hung out near Union Square, where Ethan's study group met. He knew my schedule, my art pieces, even what I wore that night, and the way he wrote. God, it was so familiar. The same dry humor, the same habit of putting ellipses when thinking, the same haha with one H and one A. No one else did. That, except Ethan. I opened our chat history and scrolled back to one specific message. You draw like you're trying to prove something. It was supposed to be flattering, but now my stomach twisted because Ethan had said that exact thing to me last semester, word for word. My throat went dry. I pulled up Ethan's Instagram, checking his stories. He hadn't posted anything in 2 days, but the timestamps of his last story lined up perfectly with when Jay had messaged me. I didn't want to believe it. I told myself it was paranoia, a wild guess. But deep down, something inside me already knew. Jay wasn't real. Jay was Ethan. And the person I'd been opening up to every night wasn't some mystery boy. It was my own boyfriend, pretending to be someone else. That realization hit harder than any breakup ever could. Because betrayal from a stranger hurts. But betrayal from the person who swore they loved you? That shatters you. I didn't confront him right away. I needed proof, something undeniable. So I waited. I kept texting Jay, pretending not to know. Each word felt heavier, faker. He'd tell me about his finance exam or roommates, and I'd think, "You mean your real life, don't you?" The next day, I sent a test. I asked Jay if he ever walked through Bryant Parks at night just to think. He replied, "Sometimes, especially after class. The lights there calm me down." That was Ethan's favorite spot, the one place he went when he said he needed a minute. I had all the proof I needed, and I knew exactly what I had to do next. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I'd read every one of Jay's messages 3 times, not to remember what he said, but to see how he said it. And now that I know, I couldn't unsee it. Every rhythm, every phrase, every little thing that had always been so Ethan. I met Ethan outside the KIO, Columbia Library FDR, where he always studied on Sundays. He looked tired, buried in spreadsheets and coffee cups. The picture of someone who had too much to do and not enough heart left to do it. "Hey," I said. He smiled automatically. "Hey, babe." I didn't smile back. "Can we talk?" He nodded, confused. I could see it in his eyes. He thought it was another small argument, maybe about attention or time or one more canceled plan. But when I said the name Jstone99, his entire face changed. The color drained from it, like I'd just pulled a secret out of his chest and held it to the light. I waited. He didn't say anything. So I did. "I know it's you, Ethan, the fake account. The messages, the meeting that never happened." He ran a hand through his hair and exhaled, staring down at the table. "Mia, I needed to know if you still cared." I blinked, not sure if I'd heard him right. "You catfished your girlfriend to test her?" "It wasn't supposed to go that far," he said quietly. "I just wanted to see if you'd fall for someone else. If you'd even notice me when I wasn't being me. That doesn't even make sense." He looked up. "Finally meeting my eyes. You stopped talking to me. You were always somewhere else. Your art, your friends, your everything. I felt like I was losing you. So you lied to me. I was scared." His voice cracked when he said it. "I thought if I came to you as someone new, maybe I'd see how you really felt. Maybe I'd get the version of you I fell in love with again." I shook my head, fighting the sting in my chest. "You didn't get that version, Ethan. You got a broken one, because of you." He tried to reach for my hand. I pulled it back. "You made me fall for words I thought were from a stranger. You made me doubt myself. You made me think I was cheating on you, with you." He looked wrecked. "I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did." I stood, my chair scraping the pavement. "I don't even know which version of you I loved anymore. The real one, or the one who finally listened." He didn't chase me when I walked away. Maybe he knew he'd already lost the right to. That night, I deleted every message from Jay, every screenshot, every voice note. But I couldn't bring myself to block Ethan. Not yet. A week later, he left a small sketchbook at my door. No note, just a folded page inside. It was a drawing. Me, sitting on the steps at the Met, headphones in, staring into the sky. And underneath, one line written in his handwriting, I finally get it. You were never the test. I didn't call him. I didn't text back. Some things don't deserve closure. A month later, I walked across the your Brooklyn Bridge on Thrace alone, the same spot we used to go together. The air was colder than I remembered, but it felt cleaner somehow. Like truth always does, once you stop running from it. I stopped halfway, pulled out my sketchbook, and started to draw. Not him, not us. Just the city, loud, messy, unforgiving, and somehow still beautiful. People say heartbreak makes you bitter, but sometimes it just makes you honest. I still believe in love, just not in testing it. And if Ethan ever wonders what could have happened if he'd trusted me instead of pretending to be someone else, well, I hope he remembers the answer was always there. He just never asked the real me. If you've ever been tested by someone who claimed to love you, tell me in the comments what you did next. And if you made it this far, hit subscribe, because real stories like this, they don't always end with forgiveness. Sometimes they just end with freedom.